Hello Pokemon trainers, sorry I was waiting for the icon to come on to see that I'm live. Welcome to another episode of iStarly TV. I'm your host Scarecrow. Today I have a UU match for you all, whoever's watching this, and as you can see my team is really bulky, pretty standard UU. I mean Florges and Aggron are a very solid defensive core, and then I rounded out that core with Mew and Suicune, both of which can handle things that Florges and Aggron cannot really handle too well. So the four of these together are just a great team. My Suicune is the Calm Mind variant with max HP, max defense, pretty standard, sleep, talk, rest, Calm Mind, and Scald, you know, basic Suicune. And then I have Life Orb, offensive Roserade. Roserade is awesome because it's kind of defensive. It has some good defensive stats, and it has a pretty good defensive typing. And it has Rest, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power Fire, and Sludge Bomb for the dual stab. So, you know, it's pretty threatening. It can do well against some defensive Pokemon, and then, you know, take some hits from some offensive Pokemon as well. So it's pretty fine. And then I have Mega Bannet, which I've actually been using pretty frequently as of late, as you saw in one of my previous uploads, and I like what it's been doing for my teams. It's pretty nice. It's pretty unsuspected. People don't really know what Mega Bannet does at this point. It does sometimes feel like a worse Sableye, but I mean Disable gives it its own niche. The fact that it can priority disable moves, meaning that it can pretty much stop the opponent from doing whatever they're going to do before they do it, which I like. Anyways, my opponent's team is a mix of kind of offense. They have Basculin, which you really never see in any tier, so that's really interesting. I know it has a pretty decent attack stat and it has a decent speed stat, but those stats are only just that decent. I feel like there are probably better water type Pokemon to use in this tier, but I give my opponent kudos for using Basculin because, you know, sometimes it's fun to just use whatever Pokemon you want regardless of whether they're quote unquote good or not. And then Druddigon's another solid Pokemon. It was a top tier RU threat last generation, I believe, and it's fine in UU now. I mean, it's a dragon type, it's bulky, it has a high attack stat, you know, it's pretty good all around. Starmie's excellent. Obviously Starmie's one of the best OU Pokemon from previous generations. Right now it's currently in UU. I'm not sure if it'll last in UU, but if it stays in UU, that's actually really, I guess, good because it's such an amazing Pokemon. It's so versatile. It can do so many things. It has some bulk. It can be very offensive, and it's just one of the best support Pokemon to date. And then they have Mienshao, Absol, and Ditto, which is a kind of reasonably offensive lineup of Pokemon right there. So without further delay, I'm just going to get into the battle instead of rambling for, I don't know, 5 minutes. So I decided to leave with my Florges, figuring that it's one of the better things that can handle almost everything my opponent has. And they're going to actually go into Ditto right here as I get off a Moonblast to get some damage on. Here I'm going to go for the Protect, just wanting to scout what my opponent's going to do, figuring that usually Ditto is Choice Scarfed, so if they are Choice Scarfed, they're going to be locked in the move. And now that I know they're going for the Moonblast, I know I can switch in Aggron, because even if they're not Choice Scarfed, my Florges has no moves that can do anything against Aggron anyway. And here I just wanted to go for the safe Iron Head rather than making some kind of crazy prediction. I do get off a little bit of damage on this Basculin, which is fine. And then I switch into Roserade to take whatever hit it's going to go for. And I actually don't take that too well because Basculin actually has some power behind it. But luckily I'm going to be able to outspeed and finish that off with a Leaf Storm. Now they're going to go into Mienshao, and I know that they outspeed. They know they outspeed because they saw the Life Orb recoil. So I'm just going to go into Bannet here just to take a hit. I know that, you know, high jump kick, fake out, Bannet can take that really easily, and then even if they went for U-turn, that's fine. And here I'm going to go for the I'm going to Mega Evolve as they go for the U-turn, and I go for the Will-O-Wisp as they switch in their Ditto, which I guess is a fine play on their part. It does mean that it's going to cripple their Phantom Force, so it won't be doing as much. Here I'm going to Protect to scout what they're going to want to do as they actually do go for Disable. So I do feel free here to actually just switch out into my Mew, thinking that Phantom Force won't do a lot, and they can't really, I mean, if they burn Mew, that's fine too. And then I'm going to pull a double into Florges as they switch into their Absol, knowing that Florges can take on Absol really well. It can handle the dark type stab moves and any fighting type coverage moves. And there I just go for the Moonblast, and they switch into Starmie, who does not take that very well at all. They're going to be able to get off a Scald on my Florges, and luckily for them, they actually do burn. As I just finished them off with a Moonblast, that's really good for me. And here what's going to happen is I do not expect them to have the Poison Jab. I actually thought they might go for Fake Out or something. I actually don't really know what I was thinking, but I wanted to get off the Aromatherapy or the Wish so that I could heal my Florges and have it for later on in the match, because it's going to be very useful against my opponent's team. But they're going to be able to finish me off with the surprise Poison Jab. And now I'm going to go into my Suicune to wall their Mienshao as they go into Ditto, transforming into Suicune. And here, this is a pretty bad play. This is bad for me. They're going to be able to get off the rest and fully restore their Ditto's health. And they're going to be able to switch out there, and I mean, that's both good and bad. It's bad because they're still asleep, and it's good because, you know, they get full health on their Ditto. Anyways, this is a kind of Aggron Druddigon war. I kind of played my Aggron pretty badly right there, figuring they should have had a fighting type or ground type coverage move. And so, unfortunately, you know, they are going to finish me off the Bulldoze. But I'm going to be able to revenge kill with my Roserade and then switch out to Bandit, knowing that I can preserve my Roserade for later and maybe have some use against what they have. Although Mega Absol's really fast, Mienshao's really fast, and Ditto's technically not fast in this matchup because all of my Pokemon are slow and he's going to be transforming into my Pokemon. But, you know, I think Mega Absol and Mienshao kind of round out that core of offensive Pokemon pretty nicely. So here I'm going to go into Suicune. They actually end up switching into their Ditto to transform into Suicune again, and that's going to allow them to actually go for the Sleep Talk now and actually take advantage of the fact that they're asleep, and they actually get Calm Mind, wouldn't you know it. However, I actually thought ahead here, and I was able to take advantage of the fact that I know they're locked into Sleep Talk, because I'm going to be able to get off a rest, again, to preserve my Roserade for later in the match, just in case I need it. And I know that once they wake up from the rest, they're going to still be locked in the Sleep Talk, so it's kind of useless for them at that point, which means I can go into my Bandit, just go for the Phantom Force to get damage on them, and I know that they're going to have to switch out eventually, and I know that Phantom Force can deal a pretty good amount of damage to Mienshao, and probably a fair amount of damage to Absol as well, because Absol likely has pretty fragile defenses. But now my opponent's going to get further lucky and be able to switch into their Ditto on my Bandit, meaning that they, you know, transform into Bandit, which actually has a very, very high attack stat. As you can see there, they're able to just cleanly one-hit KO my Bandit with theirs. So here what I'm going to do is I'm kind of in a tough spot at this point, knowing that they're faster than all my Pokemon and they're going to be able to spam Phantom Force. Here I just go into Ditto just to take a hit, get a little bit of Rocky Helmet damage, and then just go for the knockoff right there, knowing that Phantom Force is a 2-turn move. If they go for Will-O-Wisp, they're not going to kill me that turn. So I knew regardless Mew was not dying this turn, I'm going to be able to get damage off with the knockoff, and then just go for the taunt. Because they're not Choice Scarfed anymore, so I don't want them going for Disable or Will-O-Wisp or taking advantage of my Bandit set. So basically they have to go for Phantom Force here. And here they just opt to go for the Will-O-Wisp on my Suicune before letting their Bandit die, because at that point it really served a good purpose, because now they're going to be able to go into Mienshao, get Fake Out damage on me, then burn damage, and then they're going to be able to finish me off with their move of choice. They actually just finished me off with the High Jump Kick, playing it safe, you know, not wanting to not kill my Suicune and risk me being able to fully restore my HP. And at this point now, Roserade is slower than Mienshao, even though I live that Poison Jab and am able to take it out with a Sludge Bomb. Their last Pokemon is Mega Absol, who is very, very fast, despite the fact that Absol's slow. There they actually go for Zen Headbutt. I don't know what other moves they were running, but I felt like there was probably at least another move that they had that they could have gone for that would have definitely won them the game, because Zen Headbutt actually has a small chance of missing. A very small chance, of course, but, you know, it still has some chance of missing. But anyways, that was a fair match, you know, it was a good match, very, very close. It was a narrow 1-0 victory. If they would have missed by Zen Headbutt, I mean, I know I can't rely on hacks, but had they missed, you know, I would have been able to finish off their Absol with my Roserade, which would have been, you know, a good match either way. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Flamin' Axel, for the awesome battle. Hopefully I can battle you again. If you ever see me online on Pokemon Showdown, feel free to challenge me to a battle, UU, RU, OU, any tier, and that goes for everyone who's watching this. If you happen to see me online, as you can see here, I go by the name iStarlyTV on Showdown, so you'll know who I am. If you do happen to see me online, feel free to let me know, challenge me to a battle. I mean, I'm always up for good battles with people, and I feel like if I get more good battles, I'll be able to upload more to this channel, and you know, it just works both ways, I guess. So thank you for watching. Real quick, I guess, just a quick summary of this battle and of UU and of my team. I like my team a lot. This battle, excuse me, this battle was actually before I switched out Bannet for Sableye, because again, in some ways Sableye is better than Bannet. Actually, in a lot of ways, Sableye is better than Bannet, especially because it has priority recover. So, because this is very embarrassing, but I actually didn't realize this. I actually have the Mega Bannet, the Bannettite, the Mega Bannet Stone on my Bannet, and then I have the Agronite on my Agron. And obviously you cannot have two Mega Pokemon on the same team. So basically in this battle it was a choice of whether I wanted to Mega Evolve Agron or Mega Evolve Bannet. Both of which would have helped my team a lot, but I felt like Agron and Mega Agron were weak to more things than Bannet and Mega Bannet were, and I felt like if I evolved my Mega Agron, then my Bannet just being Bannet would have been very bad. So in order to kind of balance my team out, I decided to Mega Evolve Bannet over Agron. But that was a mistake to have both of them with their Mega Stones. They're both good Mega Pokemon, but obviously you don't want to have both on the same team, because they do conflict with that. And Bannet by itself, regular Bannet, is not very good at all. Mega Bannet is barely even playable, if even playable. So yeah, there's a big difference between Mega Bannet and Bannet. There's not a humongous difference between Agron and Mega Agron. But yeah, that's just my explanation for that. If you want to try UU, I mean, this is pretty standard, but Florges and Agron, excellent core. They complement each other really well. It's kind of like the Skarmbliss of this generation of UU. Very interestingly, for those of you who don't know what Skarmbliss is, basically in 4th generation OU, Skarmory and Blissey were like a perfect defensive duo, because Skarmory had such amazing defense and a very good typing, and Blissey had such amazing special defense and especially defensive typing. So basically the two of them on the same team could basically take hits from almost any Pokemon in the game, because they were so bulky and powerful, whatever. So that's what this reminds me of. And then obviously, like I said earlier in the match, Suicune is just, it's Suicune, it's so good. It's a bulky water type. It, you know, it can burn things with Scald. It can fully recover itself and take advantage of being asleep with Rest, with Sleep Talk. And then I love this Mew set. This is a set I've been running since last generation with max HP, max speed, and because Mew's very bulky, it can take hits very well, and then just Stealth Rock Taunt. And now that knockoff is a lot better, you're able to run knockoff on this Mew and really do a lot of work. But anyways, that's all for me for today. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this, I know I don't have a huge fan base on this channel, but for any of you who do watch these videos, I appreciate it. Even if 1 or 2 people watch my videos, if 1 or 2 people watch my videos regularly, then I'm happy with that. You know, if I'm providing for anyone, that's important to me. So yeah, thank you for watching. I love playing Pokemon. I love talking about Pokemon. So yeah, have a good rest of the day, rest of the night, rest of the morning, wherever you are.